when I look back about what I left behind, all I see are 7 years of joy. I mean, I had such a wonderful time. That 7 years changed my life. It didn't just change my life because I was part of Star Trek. As an actor, I had so much fun. It was such a joy to play that character. Nog was he was so parallel to my own life. And I don't know if you knew that. It was almost because you guys were there, somehow you picked up on who I was and you put that in that character. Because his life was literally parallel, but just amplified, because Nog was amplified as a Ferengi. You know, I went through a kidney transplant at 14. When I was 17, I got into acting. And I knew exactly what I wanted to do. And I made that choice, which is outside the norm of our regular society. Parents are like, oh no, don't go into acting, go be a doctor. And I did it because I fell in love with it. And I thought to myself, I don't know how long I've got. I don't know, I might have 4 years, I might have 10, but I'm gonna fucking go for it. Because I don't know where it's gonna take me, and I wanna know that I at least tried. And I did. And every time you guys call me, I'm like, I'm working. My dream is coming true. And not only was I working, but you guys were giving me great stuff. I had a great cast, I had a great crew, I had great production. Every time I worked, I'm like, oh my God, this is the life I set out for. Nog went through the same path. He went through the same path. He was in something, he had change. He said, I want to go for that. He went for it. People gave him that chance. People gave me a chance. And that's and I don't even think I left it behind, because I always carry that love for the show with me wherever I go. And when I get to go to Star Trek conventions and meet the fans, and they say how much they love the show, and then I see their kids that are 10 going, Nog's great, I love Nog. I'm like, man, look at this. I'm part of this. I will forever be a part of this. And no one can take that away from me. So when you ask me what I've left behind, it's hard. I can't think I left anything behind, because it's still here with me every day.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of 10 Forward Weekly. My name is Mike Fainham. I'm also sometimes known as Ambassador Cal, and I am the community manager for Star Trek Online. With me today is our lead designer, Al Rivera, and we are here to remember the life of someone who is very dear to us. For those of you who don't know, Aron Eisenberg, who played Nog in both Star Trek Deep Space Nine and in our game, Star Trek Online, very suddenly passed away over the weekend. It's been a devastating and emotional couple of days for all of us here, and we wanted to take the time both to talk about Aron's life, talk about the effect he had on us, and also to provide a space for all of you to gather and talk about it as well. We saw all the memorials that you guys put on over the weekend, and I think they were absolutely lovely. I know that Aron would have appreciated it, and I know that his family did appreciate it. So thank you all for that. It's kind of a weird stream to, there's not a really easy way to jump into this.
There's nothing easy about this.
Yeah.
Just even not knowing what to say on Twitter or Facebook or social media, and just you don't want to say the wrong thing, and you don't even know what the words are.
Well, how do you sum up somebody like Aron? I mean, it's all right, I didn't think I was going to get emotional on stream.
No,
I guess that's going to happen.
It's good. I mean, it's there. I haven't even had a chance to really let it out. Now I'm starting.
Oh God! Now we're going to do it. That's a good stream for everybody to watch.
Yeah.
Just two grown men crying.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess to throw to throw it on you so I can get myself under control. My first question was going to be: do you remember when you first met Aron?
I do. It was in San Francisco. So, like we do, I usually go to conventions to try to meet the actors ahead of time to see if they have any interest in working with us. And so I can't remember what it was, maybe 2013, maybe. He was at the San Francisco. There's a creation convention in San Francisco. He was there by himself at one of the vendor tables, and I was there with my wife, and I said, "Oh, look, it's Nog," right? And it's like, you don't really, don't recognize it immediately because the makeup's so heavy, and
it's one of those when you're wandering around a Star Trek convention, you kind of have to look at the table to see what their autographed photos are to see who the people are. Yeah,
you can't tell, and so I went and I talked to him, introduced myself to him, and I gave him my card. And we talked about it, and he seemed interested, but he seemed skeptical because a lot happens all the time. We don't know if it's real or whatever. But I got his contact info, and that was the first time I remember meeting him. I think it was maybe a year later or so that I had contacted him. I can't remember. Something happened when I met him, but now my brain is fried and I can't remember what it was. But I remember because I talked with him and for a little bit, and that's when I learned that he actually, when he played Nog, he was actually a grown man. He was like 27 or something when he played Nog, because I think like a lot of people, just assumed that he was a...
Oop, there's a Kleenex in here. That was a mistake. Please
continue. I think I assumed that he was a young boy. Yeah. And he said that when he... And maybe this wasn't the first meeting, I don't remember, but he had told me that when he met when he worked with Sirach, Jake Sisko, that Sirach thought that Aron was his age, a teenage boy.
All of the makeup you would have no way of
knowing.
He
looks really young. His skin was very clear and very young looking, and with the makeup and everything. And so I thought he was like a 12, 14-year-old boy actor.
Yeah,
and
I remember
he said,
marveling at how they'd gotten such a good child actor for the show.
Yeah, I know, but he was an adult. He was 27 or something. I don't know the exact age, but that kind of rings a bell for me. And that he said that when he took his makeup up, that Sirach was... You're an adult, and was shocked by that. So that was the thing, I think, some of the first memories I have. So that was, and I think then we contacted him a couple of years later.
Yeah. And you guys became pretty good friends over the years. I know you were texting a lot back and forth. Even in the last couple of years. Yeah, we
became pretty good friends. I mean, he worked with us 2 or 3 times or so. I saw him at every convention, and so he came up here the first time. I think he recorded remotely the first time, and then he came up here do a live stream playthrough of the game. I don't remember. I don't think you were here at the time.
I wasn't. That was the
Morgan.
The one where his character kept dying because the QA person was in charge.
Yeah, Phil Farkley, the QA guy, was supposed to. I said, Phil, just keep Aron alive while you play. That's all you have to do. And then he died, and that's why he says, you had one job. Called him One Job Phil. You had just one job to keep him alive. And I remember why he flew up here. So we started talking about his health issues, which you just played in the video, or you might have talked a little bit about. No, it wasn't in that video.
He mentions it a little bit. But
but he was born with one weak kidney, and then had to get he had his first kidney transplant or addition at 14 when his kidney started to fail. He was on dialysis or something for 2 to 3 years. And then got his...
Nick just showed up with tissues. 2 full boxes of Kleenex. Thanks, Nick!
And so he... so that was his first kidney. And that's why he said why he stayed small, because he had a weak kidney. And so when he came up here, and he was always cold, so he always wore a skull cap and jacket, even though it was hot outside. And I drove him up to Perfect World, which is maybe 20 miles away or something from here. And he just fell asleep in my car. Right, and I was like, "Oh, this poor guy must, he just was exhausted from the travel and everything." I felt really bad, but then he got up and he did his live stream, and he played first at my desk to learn how to play the game at first for a while, and so that was the first time that I think that I met him at when we were working. The first time we were working together after the recording studio, and then we recorded a couple of times after that, and. We just started talking, and he would call me about some things. He would ask me, and I passed to you once about some live stream questions, and he wanted to do some stuff with Star Trek Online for his new podcast, the Seventh Rule, because he wanted to maybe do some giveaways, and we talked about doing that. Talked about me maybe coming on the podcast because he started covering Deep Space Nine, and started covering things about from the show. I said, hey, it says we covered that story in Star Trek Online. Maybe we can talk about that in there. And so he started chatting with me and he talked to me about his cat, told me about his son. And then I met his wife, Melissa. They got married 5 years ago, so I met her when they were first together.
Yeah.
And we started going.
She's a lovely person.
She's wonderful. She's so, and I was just completely, I can't even imagine what she's going through. But every time I'd go to Vegas, we'd go. He'd invite me out to lunch or dinner, and we go to dinner all the time. We went to. First, we went out. We went with just with a bunch of friends, and we always. So he'd always drive because I wouldn't take a car, and he would take a car, so he would drive because he would drive over from L.A. And him and his wife, and we'd go to this place called Chef Kenny's, which was a vegan Chinese Japanese restaurant that he really liked. He wasn't vegan; his wife is vegetarian, maybe vegan, and everyone knows I'm vegan. But he was trying to learn, and so he really loved this place, and we would go there every year. So I think we've gone like 4 times now.
That's awesome.
It was just like an annual thing.
We'll have to go back next year.
Yeah, I want to go back as like now just continue that. But I remember it's like the last time I saw him, because he had called me before this STLV. You're going to STLV because we got to go Chef Kenny's again. And I said, yeah. I wasn't sure if I was going yet. And it says, but and then so we went and I saw him and we went to dinner and I saw him at Vegas.
The thing. Here, pass that over to you.
No,
I got one.
Okay.
The thing with Aron that always, when you meet a lot of the Star Trek actors are sort of reserved and very kind of quiet backstage. Like they're getting themselves ready. You have to kind of psych yourself up for public speaking. Aron was just always this bright ball of energy. Whether you saw him at his table after he'd been signing all day, whether he was backstage at a panel, whether I had him on a live stream interview once that he'd just come back from coaching his soccer team and just talked animatedly with the fans about Deep Space Nine. It was kind of crazy. I didn't after a certain point, I didn't even have to ask questions because he was so excited about doing the stream that he'd actually opened the stream chat on his own window and thing. It was just started answering the questions before I could even read them to it. It was great. He was so enthusiastic about everything that he did. It was amazing to see.
Yeah, he was thoroughly. I mean, there are a few actors in the over there who really engage with the community. It's one of the things what I actually really like about the Discovery cast because they do a lot of the same things. But Aron really, he wasn't afraid to come around the table and give you a hug, come around, shake your hand and just talk with you and not take your money, right? Just wanted to talk with the fans. Yeah. Because he was thoroughly touched about how it affected people. He talked about how his role in Paper Moon affected veterans who had gone through PTSD traumas, and he was openly very political online. Which, if you read his threads, you can see he was very political, and he wasn't afraid to because he just believed, he believed in fairness and compassion, and he believed in equality and all the things that are about Star Trek. And
one of my favorite people because part of my job is following everybody on Twitter, and anything Aron posted was always just a big light of like you said, justice and equality and all of that stuff. Yeah,
there was a post that went up recently from someone who was talking about Aron. This woman, I don't remember her name, but she said that she had befriended him on Facebook, and because of she was obviously a fan already, and then started chatting with him and started chatting him about politics because of they shared the same political views, and she would ask him questions on Twitter or Facebook, whatever, and he would respond, and she was shocked that he would respond to her, and so she would say, "Oh, I'm so frustrated about this," and he would chime in and says, "This is what you need to do," and she was trying, so she really liked him, and she went to conventions like 3 years in a row to go meet him and chickened out, right? Because it can be overwhelming. It's like to go and talk with them, but she just didn't.
You just see them at the table, and suddenly they're real, and your whole body is like, wait, hang on.
There's a few that still get to me like that. But then she finally 2 years ago went up and talked with him and says, "You don't know me, but I'm so and so," and he was like, "Yeah, so and so, yeah." And says, "Oh, I'm so glad I met you." And she came around, gave her a hug. It was like he knew who she was, and he was really warm, and it really made her feel great. And that's just the kind of person he was. He was just very kind and very honest and very compassionate and very engaged.
Yeah, it's really easy to look at the way a lot of actors interact with their fan base from a cynical perspective of like, oh, they're only doing that so that people will like see their movies or buy their whatever. But Aron always just felt incredibly genuine in every interaction you had with him. Whatever the interaction was, you always knew you were seeing Aron as he was. Like there was never that like actor shield up with him.
There wasn't. It was all very genuine. He was very grateful for the role and the opportunities that he had. He was grateful for for Deep Space Nine, and he loved his character, and he loved the arc, and he loved how it's how it paralleled his own life in many ways, and the struggles, and he loved, and I wish we had other stories planned for him, and I'm just so sad we're never going to get a chance to do those again.
I am glad we sort of made him the face of welcoming people back into the game when we brought him in for Victory is Life.
Some people had mentioned that on Twitter, that they had come back
after a while.
And that was the face that greeted them. And that was pretty... That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. On a similar subject to that, because I can see the question being asked a lot in chat, people have been asking, what we're going to do to memorialize Aron in game.
Sure. Let me talk.
Go ahead and talk about that. I mean, the one question that I do want to answer, because I saw it pop up a couple of times, we have no intention of killing off Nog the character. I don't think ever.
That's fine.
I think it's a much much more fitting tribute for him to live on.
Yeah, some people had asked if we would put a statue of Nog in the game or but Aron's gone, but Nog will live on forever in Star Trek Online. So we obviously won't be able to have any new voice with him, but he will always be in Star Trek Online. He'll live on forever as Captain Nog. We're just never going to change that, and I think he would appreciate that. So we'll if there's opportunities that somehow we can do something with him. I mean, we wanted to do another Magnificent Ferengi thing, and we won't be able to do that. And I don't know if whatever lines we can splice together to kind of make him his character participate. I don't know what form that will take. I can't even think about that right now. But yeah, we won't kill off Nog. And so he'll always be in the game. We're also not going to be doing any type of. We talked about this for a long time. We're not going to. I don't want to be in any way try to commercialize any of this or take. So we won't be doing any.
We talked about that for a long time. I mean, this part was a very short discussion. Al said we're not doing this, and we all said, yeah, we're not doing this.
Yeah, we won't be making. We're not going to be making any events. We're not going to make any giveaways and come in and get a free this or whatever. It's just not right. We will be, as you saw. I don't know what the status is because it's just.
I think it's coming in tomorrow. You're talking about the memorial, right?
Yeah, I mean we've got we added his name to the plaque, and I'm going to just interject here because we added his name to the plaque, and I think you shared a picture of it, and there was a lot of, and I posted this, but I'll share it with everyone. People said, "What about this person? What about this person?" The plaque's only this big, people, and if you click on the plaque, everybody's name that we're aware of goes in there, and so everybody is in there. So yes, I realize that there are other people that need to be honored.
And they are honored.
And our big, the big, the TOS people are on there, and Gene Roddenberry's on there, and Anton is on there. But Nog was also he was just, Nog was special. Nog was our friend. Yeah. And so he gets to go on that plaque. Yeah. So, but everyone else is still on there, and we'll add to that plaque. Unfortunately, that is, sad that plaque keeps getting bigger and bigger. Yeah. But that's just what it is.
The life, unfortunately.
But so I'd like to at some point. I think I don't know if it's today, if it's out there now or on Thursday. We'll put Nog on Deep Space Nine. He'll be at Quark's. He'll be there, and you'll be able to there'll be a little chat dialogue that maybe we'll try to find a bark for him or something. So he'll be there, so you can see him. He'll just be hanging out there. Yeah. We talked about whether or not we should put him here at the. You don't know what I'm pointing at, but
that's okay. I can come here. Oh, it's actually turned into quite.
Where everyone is right now. We talked about putting Nog here, but I think we'll move him there later. I think because of the crowds, this is a crowded spot. We might put him. We don't know. We don't know yet, but he may end up just sitting here or standing here later.
We talked about having him have some kind of a line of dialogue to say. We have to go through all of his lines from the game and all of his lines from Deep Space Nine to figure out what's the most appropriate one.
Yeah.
But the memorial's going in tomorrow. I don't know. Is Nog do you know if Nog's going into Quarks tomorrow?
Nog should be in Quarks tomorrow.
Okay, so
I think it's hard to say because
Who knows what
with
might
game
happen.
development, there's so many moving parts, but
Yeah.
it is done, and hopefully it makes it in the build and will be out tomorrow. I think the black flags will be flying on Deep Space Nine as well as the new memorial on Deep
Yep.
Space Nine. Those 3 things should be there tomorrow.
Yeah, the
If
flags
not, it
should
will be
already be up on
the flags.
ESD and
Yeah,
Kronos
on it and
New Romulus.
New Romulus. So that those.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we have those on ready for an event, and unfortunately, they broke. So we
Yeah.
don't run them that often. So we try to turn them on over the
I mean,
weekends.
thank God we don't run them that often.
Yeah, thank
but-
God. But that's what happens, right? Because
Yeah.
if you don't test things for a long time, so we turned it on and it was broken. So we had to turn it off for the weekend, but we fixed it and got them up working on Tuesday.
ZDoc, to answer your question quickly, these memorials will be on Xbox and PS4 as well. It'll be, I think, the usual cadence. Probably one of our quicker updates to get there, but it'll probably still take a little bit until whatever the next big update to those consoles is. I'll go in with that.
Yeah, I don't know that schedule.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I don't know, but there's always a lag. In the future, we talked about whether or not we want to do something to celebrate Aron in the game in the future at a more appropriate time. I don't know what form that might take if we want to do that. And
We've had some ideas, but we don't want to.
and I don't want to do anything without the family's permission.
And
So,
right now is not the time to reach out to them to ask if we can do something in our video game.
yeah, so-
Obviously, we had a long discussion the other day about what kind of stuff we can do, and we wanted to put these memorials that we've talked about in pretty immediately. But then we do want to do something to celebrate his life. But like Al said, what we don't want to do is anything that might make it seem like we're trying to capitalize.
Yep.
Because that's just crass. That's not who we are, and that's not who Aron was. So.
Yeah, and like when Leonard Nimoy passed, we ended up following the community about like where was everybody naturally going.
Yeah.
And everyone obviously was going to Deep Space Nine, and some were going here, and some were going to Quarks as far as where we would put Nog or something for Nog. And so I think for now Nog will be in Deep Space Nine, and then the memorial will go where everyone is standing right now over on the promenade. So we'll kind of like have both spots covered there. It'll overlook the wormhole. It's probably right behind where we're looking right now. Is where that placard will go.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So that's all the game-wise updates. Yeah, it's like I said, it's a hard stream. It's what do you say? Do you? I'm trying to think of. I think my favorite memory that comes to mind very quickly of Aron is when he came on to do the live stream with us, because somebody asked him about I believe it's Only a Paper Moon. Is that the one with the leg amputation?
Yeah.
Yeah. And he just started talking about his character's relationship to Cisco, and you could see that, kind of like he talked about in the video here, how much that relationship sort of bled over into his real life as well, and how much that relationship meant to him as Aron as well. And he just, so much of him was Nog, and so much of him was dedicated to helping to keep that memory alive. And like he said in that video, he got so excited seeing the next generation of Star Trek fans come up at conventions and talk about how their parents had shown them Deep Space Nine and what his character had meant to them. I think it's just
The last video, or the latest video that I had seen of him was with a little girl who was dressed up as a Ferengi.
Oh, yeah.
at Star Trek Online, and so it was just a little girl, and so talk about the next generation watching Star Trek. So she had dressed up as, I don't know if she was dressed up as Nog or just a general Ferengi, I don't know. And he took a video of it, and then he said what he said. He says, play a Ferengi, That's what he says, right? So that was his thing that he coined that everyone recognizes.
Which is part of that reason why that's his quote on the memorial right now. Is because that's just, he got excited about that idea. He would say it every time we talked to him.
He said every time we talk to him, that's what he'd say, and I think the fans recognized it for him. I saw a lot of people texting and tweeting that when he passed, and we will fill that with a more with
Yeah.
with something more appropriate. But we only had basically hours
Yeah.
to get something because we came in on Monday, and Monday the bill gets made for Tuesday's patch, and says let's just put that in there for now until we can find something more meaningful.
Yeah.
We have a couple things that I'm looking at to see what would be the best thing to put there as his quote. But yeah, he was very grateful for having the opportunity to play Nog again. He was, as you mentioned, he was a jokester or a prankster. He was energetic all the time. I think I got to say that the last panel I had with him, so that was not this last year but the one before that, we had our Victory is Life panel, and it was Aaron and Chase Masterson and Andrew Robinson and Max Grodenchek.
Yep.
I think that was it.
Yeah.
Plus several people from Cryptic, Scott, and I think Thomas was there. I don't remember who else.
I think that's it.
But
I can always look at the picture.
but it was so funny, right? He
Yeah.
was so funny. I had the most fun on that panel I have ever. I mean,
Yeah.
I've been starstruck and just like in awe and just I can't believe I'm up here with certain people and having that opportunity.
I certainly didn't see you like that with Anthony Rapp this year.
Yeah, that was great too.
Yeah.
But Aaron just made it feel like friends and family, right? He was just joking with everyone. He was reaching over the table to talk to people, and he was just engaged with everyone. And I talked to him, and he's like, yeah, it's like he would get frustrated, like when he would say something and someone would just and not respond, and he would ask them. And they'd go, yeah, mm-hmm. And I says, no, you got to do yes and. He kept saying yes and. We got to keep the conversation going. We got to keep the energy going. He was just really big on that, and he would get. And so he kept pushing, just to, whether it was entertaining or just having fun, and just.
At DST, Destination Star Trek 2 years ago in Germany, we had this panel that the Perfect World folks and I had like very meticulously planned out, and like here's what will be happening minute to minute on the panel. And then they said they wanted to get some of our guest stars from Victory's Life on there as well, so we got Chase for one of the panels and Aaron for another one. And I knew as soon as Aaron walked on stage, like, this very careful schedule is gone now. This panel is whatever Aaron wants it to be. And like 10 seconds in, he saw Robert Duncan McNeil walking like across the thing, and just called him on stage and had him host the panel too. And like, it was just, he just made, like you said, it was the most entertaining panel I've ever been a part of. And keeping up with him was like, those poor social media managers and stuff from Europe who hadn't experienced it before. You have to be an improv comedian to keep up with Aaron.
Yeah. And you know what was different about Aaron is like I've known people who are like that, and sometimes they tend to do it to just make it about them. But he was just trying to do it to make it about everybody. Yeah. Right? He was trying to make it about Robert. He would try to make it about Chase, and he would try to engage with people and other people he wants. That's what the yes stand is. Let's all be a part of this. And
he'd go out of his way to promote us in panels where he didn't even have to mention us. Like he just wanted people to experience all this good stuff.
The first panel I went on with, he was going to go on, and he wasn't sure if he could make it because he was in full makeup. The panel before with Max as him and Max would go up as Ram and Nog, and I don't know if they would sing sometimes or do different things, and so he just came on our panel in full makeup. So he just came out there. So everyone, like Denise Crosby was there and Chase Masterson was there, and they were dressed up into the nines, and he walks out in full makeup. And he's like, screw it, right? And he was having fun with it. I think that's the first time he said # play a Ferengi. Yeah. I think that's the first time he said that. So it was, because I guess it wasn't Victor's Life. That was his first one. We're doing the Arconian War story arc.
Well, I remember for the year before we did Victory's Life, we had a second panel, and it was kind of just a like, well, let's talk to the fans about Star Trek Online in general. We didn't have a specific thrust to it. Our big Zen Cathy season was the big stage panel, and this was kind of the smaller stage one. And you'd suggested we have Aaron come on, and I had like no warning about what Aron was like at that point. I'd seen him at his table to talk to about the panel very briefly, but you know, he was a little bit reserved. He was dealing with some other fans, and then he got on stage and just started going a mile a minute. And it was like I went from okay, here's all my carefully planned notes to okay, we're doing this. Let's go.
Yeah, that was great.
It was a fun roller coaster ride doing a panel with him because like you said, you never really knew where he might go next,
Right.
but it was always a positive place that would like keep the conversation going, keep people laughing.
Yeah.
You know,
and I think sometimes you get the impression that that's just like I said before, whether he needs to be the center of attention. But when you're with him, like if you're at the dinner with him or having a conversation with him, it's always about you, and he just wants to kind of and he's absolutely genuine. He's not trying to be, you know, this kind of guy or look at me kind of guy.
Yeah.
It was. You know, he was just genuine. He was just genuine and kind, and he never had anything bad to say about anybody. He loved his crew from he talked so much great things about Avery Books, and he says, when are you gonna have Avery Books in the game? He says, I don't know. I don't know. We'll have to think about it. He says, like, if you're working with Avery, he says, like, Avery talks in jazz. So you have to talk to him in jazz. But he had so many great things. Like he was a tremendous actor and and how he made everyone around him better. And so he talks, and of course he got really good friends with Sirach, who he then made a podcast with, which I'm sure you can still listen to, the older episodes, him and Sirach. He had another podcast with Garrett Wong. He just had friends with everybody, right?
Well, and that's one of the great things about that line of tables at STLV. It was always just like JG and Robert and him and Chase and Max and like if you just hung out in that general area, they were always like laughing and joking with each other and like tossing little good-natured teasing back and forth. And it was such a Chase would always go on about, well, not go on, that's the word I meant, but Chase would always talk about, when we were talking about Victory is Life, how, you know, when the question inevitably came up, why do people love Deep Space Nine so much? It's because Deep Space Nine is a family. And I think that came through in the cast, and I think that's the kind of people they had on that show, and that's the kind of person Aron was, just like everyone who talked to him, you felt like you were part of his family. Whether you were somebody you met for 2 seconds in an autograph line or, you know, working with him on a panel. We were trying to do this video project at STLV last year, just getting some videos of different people who'd been in our game. Aron was like, hold on 1 second, I'll get to you, and had me just like wait behind his table. And I just watched as he like spent, you know, a good 15-20 minutes with every single person in his line, you know, asking about their lives, taking pictures, making sure they got the right stuff they want on their autograph. Like it was just like a big family reunion.
Yes, and you can see, I mean, he was like really good friends with JG, you know, Hertzler, Martok, and really good friends with Max Grodonchek and with Armin Shimmerman. And he just was all good friends with all of them, and they all loved him. And I think one of the things that you can see, and I'm going to put a little plug in here about how loved he was and how many people he affected. If you just, you know, the fundraiser has just been blown out of the water. And if you're able,
we'll put a link to it in the chat. There's been actually there's another one.
There's a second one now as well. Either one, whatever. There's 2 GoFundMe's, and last I checked this morning, you were at like $35,000 or something. And you know, he was a husband and a father, and people sometimes they think that celebrities are like, oh, it was TV celebrities, so they must be millionaires. No, I mean, it was pretty average, you know, lifestyle that he lived in. And the family really needs that money right now. Yeah. They really need that. There's the funeral cost, but then there's just getting on with your life and just not having, you know, just not having to worry about those problems. So
it's a silly thing to think about, but he also was a source of income for his family.
He was, he certainly was, and so whatever you can give, if it's $1, if it's $5 or whatever. Just give to this family. These people, he was wonderful, and he will be missed. And they need every support they can get. They deserve everything they can get. So,
while we're talking about this, pull up this link and put it in both chats.
Yeah. So there are two fundraisers, GoFundMe's. They're both legit. One is done by the soccer team that he used to coach soccer. He teaches his son soccer, so the soccer team started a GoFundMe today or yesterday.
Yeah.
And the other one is set up by their friends, Garrett Wong, and Garrett Wong's a significant other set it up, who's friends with Melissa. That's a rough video too.
Yeah. Sorry.
Melissa's been.
Here we go.
So.
Let me just pop this in chat. Whatever you can give to help out, please do.
Yeah. So, I don't know what else to say.
Yeah, I don't really know either.
Are there questions at all?
It's not really a video where.
Well, I will not be answering gameplay questions or anything. But I mean, if there's any questions about Aaron.
Yeah, if there's anything you guys want to know, we can always answer that. We've got. Let's see. We also can pop around while we're here and look at the different memorials that have been going on.
This is all streaming.
This is all happening live on the PC right now. Yeah.
Oh, but this is on the stream right now.
Yeah, it's on the stream.
Okay.
So this is DS9 number 5, which is where I was. Let's jump around and see what else we've got going on.
Is it
some people?
You're going to different DS9s. Okay,
yeah.
So they're all full.
They're all full.
Okay.
All right. Well, in that case, let's. I don't know if I can do that.
What shouldn't?
I think I need a higher access level to jump into a map that's full. Let's see. Yeah, I do. Okay. Well, then I'll stay here, I guess.
Is anyone in Quarks as well, or?
Let's find out. I did tell people to meet here. So
yeah, I saw that, but I don't know if people are. Because Nog's not there yet, is he? Okay.
No, he won't be there until tomorrow. But we can show. We're going to put him in this
chair
right here.
Yeah, we're actually going to take the chair out.
Yeah.
We're going to take the chair out, and he'll be standing around there facing out. But okay.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah. Waiting to talk to you guys. I'm going to head back upstairs. This is we did because for the DS9 remake, we did. No, don't talk to Auden. I'll just go up the stairs. We did a video that I took of walking around Deep Space Nine just to show it off for everybody. And there was an NPC in the video. I couldn't cut it out. Who jumped from the top of the second story down to the bottom. And Aaron was so excited by that when we showed it to him at Deep Space Nine. He was like, yeah, the recreation looks great. Everything's fine. But did you see that person jumping off the balcony? Did
you have the videos to share?
From which videos?
The video you just talked about.
Probably not, but let me check. If it's on the end drive somewhere, I might.
I don't know if you've got any videos or pictures to share, so we can
I've got pictures of him. I know I was saving some of that for when Nick comes on because he took all of those. But let's see. No, I don't see any. Oh, Victory's Life Panel 2018.
Is those your photos, or do you think we got a video?
I think that'll be. Oh, this will be photos, maybe. This is Nick's shots of the panel. Okay, well, I'll tell you what. I've got some stuff we can show. Let me pop over to this one. This is actually from 2 years ago at STLV. This was my first time doing a live stream with the two phones, one in each hand.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
And so Deanna was running. This is Deanna on the right side. If you don't know, she's our marketing person. She was running around ahead of me as I was walking around trying to grab the different Star Trek people to talk to. And so of course when she got to Aaron, he stopped and chatted with us for a good 15, 20 minutes. I think he got a huge kick out of the fact that he had two different cameras to look at.
Yeah, I remember that too. And I'm looking. You were in Vegas, and he was always, even in Vegas, he was cold.
Let me just. I gotta actually go behind the screen to do it.
So he'd wear a cap, a beanie cap, and a jacket because he was always cold.
Yeah.
That was during the Victory's Life panel one. That was the day that was that
year. Yeah.
That was that year.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, actually, no. That would have been the year before, wouldn't it?
Was it the year before?
Because the year before was the year I met Aaron and the year I did the first stream. Because I've been to STLV 3 times now, I think. Right? Yeah, because we had the year we went with the Zenkethi Arc, the year we went with Victory's Life, and the year we went with Discovery and this year. I've been 4 times.
And
Have I?
the year before this one, there's a Kathy panel. I don't think I was on. He was on stage. I think with Rakosa on one panel and
That was that was because that was the year that you were
yeah.
Yeah.
So the one year I didn't go on, I was at Vegas, but I didn't go on the panel, which by the way was actually very relaxing to not have to worry about the panel.
Honestly, this year, like not having a booth was not the greatest for some reasons, but for other reasons of like just being able to go explore and not stand around all day
and not have to be there at 8 a.m. and until 8 at night, and
God.
Yeah, so it was definitely very liberating to not have that.
Yeah. Hapithic, we do have a recording of the time that Aaron was here on the live stream to do the interview. I don't think we have the original one, the One Job Phil live stream saved anywhere, unfortunately. But
it's not on our YouTube channel.
So before I got here, there was this initiative to move everything Perfect World published to a single Perfect World YouTube channel, so then a lot of stuff got removed from our Star Trek channel, and then when I got here, I found every old video I could and put it on our YouTube channel, but some of them are just not there. But if you go to our YouTube channel, if you just search for Star Trek Online YouTube, you'll find it. We're the interview with him is there. It's under the interviews playlist, and you can see it there. Let's see. Corvin Rhaegar says the STLV 50 was like a family reunion but with less alcohol and awkwardness.
Which
this is actually here. I've got another one.
The 50th anniversary STLV was pretty great.
Which one is it? I think it's this one. Yeah. That's one of my favorite pictures of him.
And that's his wife.
That's his wife,
Lisa.
Yep. And this is he I guess was self-conscious about listening to his own performance.
Yeah.
And so Al brought him over to watch his stuff from like the Magnificent Ferengi and stuff like that, and he made his wife do it while he just sort of stood there embarrassed.
Yeah, that was a great panel, and that was he came over to play his work. Yeah, he said he just really hated his voice. He really hated his voice and listening to his own voice.
Which is funny because his voice is awesome.
Yeah, but I guess everyone comes. I mean, it doesn't bother me, but some people have a little. I used to bother me.
When I watch myself acting, I'm always like, "What are you doing with your arms, you moron? Stop it!"
But yeah, he eventually played, but I don't think he wanted to listen because, which I wanted him to listen because I wanted to have him hear the dialogue between him and Jeffrey Combs and Armin Shimmerman because it's great dialogue. But he played for a little bit. He was a gamer. I don't think he ever got around to playing Star Trek Online. I know he started downloading it, and he was going to start playing it on his podcast. But he was a WoW player. He loved WoW.
They're doing a big memorial for him.
I saw that. His son
coming up soon. Yeah,
his son had organized because that was his game. That was what he liked to play. So. Yeah, his son's organizing something.
Yeah, that's on the official Star Trek subreddit if you want to take a look at there and find out more about it.
But yeah, he had no trouble watching other people play. Like he watched because I think what's his name, Andrew Robinson came over and played, and he had no trouble teasing other people. But he didn't want to hear his own voice.
Yeah.
So he hadn't even watched most of Deep Space Nine, so he just started rewatching it now. So he had seen it all, and but he was shy to see his own performances. He didn't think he was doing a good job or something, and he was always worried about getting fired on his last day.
Yeah.
But he has one of the
like that.
Yeah. We're like any other people, right?
Yeah.
We all have our insecurities. But he had one of the best story arcs, one of those character arcs in the game. Well, development from a little thief, an illiterate thief, to becoming the first Ferengi in Starfleet, and talking about not wanting to be like his father. And because
that scene.
It was a great scene.
It's one of those things. Somebody mentioned the other day that Aaron was technically a guest star and was never actually like an official main cast member, and I'd totally forgotten that because to me, Nog is absolutely a main cast member of Deep Space Nine. Like, he's one of the integral parts of that story. But there's a lot of people, because that was such an ensemble show, like Martok was technically never a main cast member either.
Sure.
But,
yeah, well, I mean, it's from the I guess it's whichever, whether you want to consider a main cast member, if they're on the credits, I'm sure it's got to do with something with contracts or stuff.
Does,
but
and how much people get paid for stuff. But
but there's him and like Quark would probably, Armin Shimmerman was getting top billing.
Yeah.
But probably Max and Aaron were considered guest stars as much as Chase and Max and J.G. Hertzler. J.G. Hertzler played like 3 characters on Deep Space, I think, or something.
He played like 7 over the course of his time on Star Trek.
He played a lot of characters, and Aaron, of course, only played the 2. He played Nog, and then he played 1 character in 1 episode in Voyager. Which
episode was that? I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, no, he played the now my brain's farting. He played one of the Kazon boy that Chakotay befriended.
Okay.
When because he like lost his clan or something like that, and I remember the details of the story. They were marooned. It was an enemy mine kind of story.
Oh, yeah. They did quite a few of those on Voyager.
Yeah, and so so he played 1 episode, and so he knows so he knows some Voyager cast members. Robert Beltran tweeted some stuff out about it, and so he actually plays that Ferengi character, that Kazon character in Star Trek Online as well.
Yeah.
He plays both in Star Trek on the show, and he plays. And I don't remember the Kazon's character's name, but if you go to the Delta Quadrant, there's an episode with that, or maybe it's a patrol. I can't remember if it was a patrol or an episode with that Kazon character and Aaron plays it
cool.
as an adult. The character is now grown up
really
as
cool.
an adult.
I love when we do stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's just a nice touch. Someone was asking if we have any plans on following the storyline that was laid out for Nog in the What We Left Behind documentary. If I remember correctly, didn't they say they were going to kill him off in that documentary?
Yeah,
I think he was understandably pretty pissed
about
that.
It's a great scene. It's a great scene. It's a great example of Aron Eisenberg. If you watch the documentary, which I'm sure you can get the DVD. I don't know if it's on iTunes or anything like that, but I know you can buy I know they were selling the DVDs. It was in theaters a few months ago. It was really kind of It was really interesting to watch. It was fun to watch watching the writers of Deep Space Nine kind of hash out what the next season would be.
Yeah.
And they ended up like, well, it's kind of like our process. And it's like, well, I guess we actually know we're. I guess we're that's not too bad. How they just kind of whiteboarded ideas and where they went with things. I'm sure it was kind of truncated and edited for the show. But yeah, the first scene they kill off Nog in the scene, spoilers, and then they cut to Aron Eisenberg telling Aron Eisenberg, and he's like, and he flips him off, says, "What, F you," and all this stuff like that. But it acts like he's angry, but I'm sure he wasn't happy about it. But at the same time, he's just being the clown that he is, and just being so animated. It's a really funny scene.
Hold on 1 second. Sorry,
yeah.
I'm getting some reports that the stream is having some issues. Let me just make sure.